If I'm going to be continuing this trend of making videos to help me improve and to process information, then it just makes sense for me to move into patch note analysis, I think. So what I'm going to be doing with my own patch note videos, there's a lot of people way smarter than I am about the game who can give more in-depth analysis, but my intention is just to pose some hypotheses and what I think we're going to see from the patch and what should probably be tested as a result of this patch. So we're on patch 10.15, and I think the best place to start is actually skipping right to the items and the systems, because the champions are obviously going to be affected by that. Starting with what I think as a support main is like the most important thing, the Spell Thief's Edge buffs. So ever since the 80 carry health pass, engaged supports have been falling out of favor a little bit, because like you can't just pick Nautilus and one-shot the 80 carry, which is funny. So we've been seeing more enchanters, but despite that, everyone's been going relic shields because it's just so much safer. It gets you more consistent gold gen. Like, why would you go Spell Thieves? So the buff they've actually given to these items is more base mana regen, which is actually huge for champions like Karma, who can now just throw out poke, are going to be more impressive. As we'll see from like Yumi, this is going to be a big deal. Maybe Sona actually can lane more effectively, because her big limiting factor is not having mana in the early game, so she needs to scale. So I'm actually wondering if Sona is going to be like a playable champion at higher ranks. So I would start experimenting with Spell Thieves, because I think it's going to come back in a big way on a lot of champions, but don't just blindly take it on everybody, because like, Relic Shield still has its place on enchanters. We might even see some mages just really spike and win rate. As for Unsealed Spellbook, initial cooldown up. So, yeah, it takes 6 minutes, maximum cooldown cap. I mean, like, I don't really see why this is getting nerfed, to be honest, because, like, Unsealed Spellbook is really, really coming out because the other keystones have been nerfed so much. It's like Guardian, Predator, Airy, especially since, like, Season 7. Sure, I don't think this is gonna affect very much. Like, the Spellbook users are still gonna like Spellbook, and it's still probably not worth taking some damage keystones that aren't doing their job, or Guardian that isn't doing its job for shielding, or stuff like that. Let's get into champions. Let's see what I think is going to come out. First of all, we have Lilia. I've not gone more over Lilia since my initial impressions from the PvE. We did realize that, Cinderhulk's not a great idea, because you can't profit from the burn. Abyssal Mask, her auto range is larger, and so is her Q range, larger than the actual aura, so that, certain tank, I still think, like, tank items are going to be good on her, but, like, we'll need to figure out which ones. Aphelios. I love Aphelios. One of my favorite champions. Like, absolutely my favorite 80 carry. Whenever he's doing something bullshit, though, it's usually Crescendum and Infernum, and those are what's getting nerfed. Sentry activation radius, like, sure. I think, like, the real problem is just how instantaneously he spikes with chakrams, because it's like that first chakram is the most important, and then he gets 2, 3, 4, and then I think like when he has 7 or something, it's not worth picking up more. But like the first chakram is such a big deal. So like if he only has 1, doesn't it like add 50% bonus damage or 46% or something along those lines? So like I'm not sure if this is the right place to target the nerf. But Infernum, all these Runons interactions, this is actually going to reduce the damage, and I'm super happy about that. He's going to be fine. Aphelios is going to be played, and I want him to continue to be played, just, I can't believe he's still, like, this strong, It's kind of shocking. Caitlyn has been weak in pro play and top level. She really needs certain supports to shine, and they're hitting her with some base stats. Actually, 5 movement speed and a 650 range champion, probably going to be alright. I don't know if this is going to be enough to, like, bring her out, though, but I think we should test her, because, this is actually a buff we should pay attention to. Fiddlesticks, healing, reduced to 15% against minions. Gonna suck for support Fiddle a little bit, gonna suck for tank. The more I play support Fiddle, the more I realize it's probably not as good as I was hoping. So, we're probably going to see him just leave the bot lane pretty soon. But I'm still going to try to make it work, because I love the champion. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Gragas. Why are they buffing him? Like, thank God Q's AP ratio is not here, but, like, Gragas could already solo lane. Gragas is already building AP. You all know I hate AP Malphite. I think he's just the worst champion. But I like Gragas because there's more counterplay to him. Like, you have more skill shots to dodge. He has to land more stuff to kill you. I think Gragas does what AP Malphite does in a much healthier way. I just am scared of him being over... Like, I wonder if... You know, I don't think mid lane Gragas is going to be, like, much more of a threat because Q's ratio is not going up, but, like, jungle Gragas is going to appear, I'm pretty sure. Aurelia, I can't really speak to her very much. I don't play Aurelia. I haven't seen her in a while. Strengthening her scaling and dueling potential. She's getting more attack speed. Attack speed's nice. Oh, fuck. She's gonna build Wit's End and just... Okay. It's a buff. It is a buff. Lee Sin, Safeguard. I don't think this is going to hurt him too much. Ornn, Armor Down. Please just reduce his damage and give him more tank stats. Like, I don't like the trend of Riot to reduce tankiness and then give tanks damage. Like, they're doing it to Sejuani, and, you know, I like Sejuani. She's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love just smashing people with that damage, but shh, it doesn't matter. I think Ornn, like, shouldn't be getting more damage and then getting his tank stats nerfed, but that's just me. Rakan's entire objective is to survive lane phase and keep going. Fae Feather's cool. I mean, sure, it's a buff. This is not going to affect Rakan, like, at all. I am so sad that sound just played. I should have muted my desktop audio. Anyway, Shen. Guardian's Shield is 70 at rank 1, and it's really, really shitty because it, like, absorbs a single 80 carry auto attack or something like that, but also Shen just has his passive. He doesn't have to, like, take his passive in champ select, you know? So this is actually... It'll help. I think top laners can speak more effectively on this. I'm not seeing this, like, 20 damage shield as a huge, huge buff, but maybe I'm undervaluing early damage. Or early damage mitigation. Skarner, there's a lot of stuff that I really haven't read here, except for the fact that he does do, like, max health damage. It doesn't make sense to me, though, because Skarner's identity to me has been the Juggernaut who trades off damage for, like, a fuck ton of crowd control. I mean, he still has damage, and he still can duel you, but, like, Missile, that's nice. I do like the Fracture. Skarner just doesn't get played, though, right? Like, AD is down. He's less incentivized to build AD, actually. So, maybe this does buff tank Skarner. Cool. Swain is a champion I'm really, really into. Actually, maybe we will see more Skarner. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Swain is... There's going to be nerfs, there's going to be buffs, and I want to really point out the Spell Thief's buff because it's going to help Swain a lot, even though he lost the mana regen on his passive. It's not a static cooldown anymore on passive pull, which is kind of cool, and it does match up to the static E cooldown. I don't think we max this anymore as support, like, ever. I think you get more value out of... Well, first of all, Q is much better. You can hit more bolts on more people. The cooldowns are lower. Spamming it would be nice, but he would have to build mana, so I'm kind of... Like, unless the Spell Thief's buffs end up being huge, which... You know, so I don't think support Swain will be super effective in itemization, but if he is, if Spell Thieves isn't enough, then he's probably forced into Roa, and that's going to hurt him. Because there's some games where it just doesn't work for him. W is actually kind of nuts. Of course, base damage down. The mana cost going down, though, is nice. And the fact that you can just affect other lanes without moving is going to make him more of a threat. So, like, I honestly think Swain's fine. If Q especially makes him more viable in solo lanes, mission complete, I'm happy with this. I think, you know, support Swain would be fine because of what they did to E. It's just you're going to have to be careful about spamming. But Spell Thieves should help to mitigate some of the nerfs. The big thing is the movement speed. This sucks. This is so bad. And we're going to have to find ways to get around it if you want to continue playing Swain. Like, this is the big, like, X. We don't like that. Like, that nerf's probably going to be bigger than it seems. Thresh. Cool. I maxed W second. This is a shame. It's going to make more aggro Thresh players, like, happy. But I don't know if we're going to see Thresh appear, especially given the current trend of the meta, so, like, sucks that he's getting nerfed, actually. Twisted Fate getting nerfed, it's literally just W... I mean, shouldn't he... They're reducing his lane pressure and wave control at early phases, so, okay, so, early game nerf, maybe he's not roaming quite as much, maybe he's not getting, like... Yeah, because his cards are actually so good right now. Blue card's insane, yellow card's insane. I don't think red card is like that good, but it helps her getting him versus his roams. So I can't speak too much to him, but he is like everywhere in the meta. So I think we'll probably see him a little... We'll probably see him the same. It's just slightly weaker lane, because Twisted Fate doesn't care about his lane that much. Yuumi, she's back. Just straight up. This champion is back. 8% max health restore on mana. Awesome. The cooldown is buffed. Awesome. Spell Thief's buffs helps her a lot. So this is hopefully encouraging a more active Yuumi. She's going to just straight up come back. She's going to be in the meta. She's going to be like a good support, I think. I think if Yuumi is incentivized to passive more, then she is going to be more fun to play and more fun to play against, which is awesome. I'm just concerned that, you know, Yuumi is at the forefront of the meta, because I do think that's going to happen. Is going to be rough. Anyway, I'll try to abuse this champion ranked, and just see if I'm right about her being really strong again. That's all. That's really everything. So, honestly, the patch seems... Like, when I read these, I think, for the most part, it's going to do what they want. I'm afraid about Swain. I don't know if, like, he's going to be buffed quite as much as we hope, but he should be fine. He should survive these changes. Skarner, I can't speak on. This does almost nothing. This really does almost nothing. But generally, you know, like, we're gonna see more Gragas, probably. We're gonna see a little less Fiddle. We're gonna see a little more Caitlyn. We're gonna see, like, probably the same Aphelios. Like, generally, the champions that were buffed seem to... Like, the buffs seem actually useful. And the champions that were nerfed, like, are actually going to make an impact for the most part, you know. Except outside of TF and Ornn. I'm happy. I don't like champions being nerfed to oblivion. I don't like them being just removed from the game, you know, but anyway, those are my 2 cents on 10-15. Yuumi, Swain, and Skarner are the big things to look at, because these two got massive changes. Yuumi is probably going to be really strong, but like, we'll keep watching Aphelios, who is probably going to be really good still. Just this needed to change. I'm happy about that. And honestly, I'll keep an eye on Caitlyn, because the move speed could be bigger than we think. So that's just what I think about the patches. I'm probably going to refine my process. I'll get better at making these as time goes on. But thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure to test this patch out for yourself and let me know what you find. Take care, everyone.